Welcome to AI Verdict, where we do the heavy lifting so you don't have to. Today, we are diving deep into the clash of the AI titans, GPT 5.4 versus Grok 4.2. You're probably using one of them already, but are you absolutely sure it's the right one for what you need to do?
You know the feeling, right? You get an output and you're second-guessing it. You're wondering if you're really getting your money's worth, or maybe you're even pasting answers from one AI into another just to be sure. It's a super common frustration, and it almost always means there's a mismatch between the tool and the task.
So we decided to settle it. We put both models to the test, running them side by side on actual real-world projects. And now we're going to give you the full breakdown: architecture, performance, safety, pricing, the whole shebang. By the end of this, you'll know exactly which one is the right investment for you. So let's kick things off with how they're actually built. All right, first up, we've got to talk about the architecture, because these models aren't just small updates of each other, they are fundamentally different in how they think. It's like comparing one genius brain to a whole committee of experts. Okay, so with GPT 5.4, OpenAI basically merged everything into one single powerful unit. Think of it as one giant brain that does it all, combining the coding muscle of its predecessor with an even sharper reasoning engine. Grok 4.2, though, they went a totally different way, building what's essentially a committee of experts. And this is where it gets really cool. Grok's approach is wild. It's not one model. It's four specialized AIs that literally debate each other internally. You've got Grok, who's the captain running the show. Then you have Harper, the fact-checker, who's constantly searching the live web. Benjamin is the math and code whiz, and Lucas jumps in to add creativity and check for bias. This means every single response you get has been vetted and argued over before it ever reaches you. It's a real game changer. And that wild architecture leads to one of Grok's biggest selling points, the context window. Now, GPT 5.4 has a really impressive 1 million token window, which is huge, but Grok 4.2 comes in and doubles that to a massive 2 million tokens. If you're working with, say, an entire code base or a stack of research papers, that difference is absolutely everything. Okay, so how do these different builds actually perform? This is where a lot of comparisons get messy, so we're going to cut through all the noise and compare the straight-up lab scores against what happens in the messy, unpredictable real world. On paper, in a controlled environment, GPT 5.4 is an absolute monster. It smashes the GDP Val benchmark, that's a test of graduate-level professional reasoning, with 83% accuracy. I mean, that is a generational leap. It also scores off the charts in coding and visual tests, making it the undisputed champion of structured, by-the-book tasks. But then, you see this number. So what is it? That is Grok 4.2's profit percentage in a live stock trading challenge. In a chaotic, unpredictable, real-world scenario, Grok was the only model that actually made money. Every other AI lost. That speaks volumes. Now, we do need to add some important context here. XAI claims a mind-blowing 95% on a major language test, but that's not been independently verified. And when you look for third-party coding benchmarks for Grok, they're basically nowhere to be found. So the big takeaway here is GPT 4.5 wins the clean, structured tests, but Grok seems to have an edge when things get messy and unpredictable. And that brings us to a really key question about trust and personality. Are you looking for a safe pair of hands for professional work, or do you need an unfiltered truth teller that's pulling information from live data right now? OpenAI is betting everything on safety and reliability. GPT 5.4 is their most factual model ever, with way fewer errors and false claims. It is the safe, sponsor-friendly choice for professional content. Grok, on the other hand, uses its Harper agent to fact-check against live web and X data. It's intentionally designed to allow politically incorrect claims if the source material backs it up, giving you a much more raw, unfiltered, real-time analysis. And for anyone in a professional setting, this next feature is a really big deal. GPT 5.4 has something called chain of thought oversight. This lets you actually track how the model came to its conclusion step by step. For accountability in things like corporate or legal work, that's absolutely critical. Okay, let's talk about the bottom line. Let's talk money, because this is where the differences between these two get incredibly stark. We're not just looking at the price tag, but also at the whole ecosystem of tools available to you. So the cost to put information in is pretty similar, but the cost for the output, the answer you get back, is where it gets crazy. GPT 5.4 charges a pretty steep $50 per 1,000 tokens for its output.
Grok 4.2, just $6. That is a massive, massive difference. Now, on the flip side, with GPT, you are paying for that incredibly mature ecosystem. Years of development, integrations, and community support that Grok's younger API is still playing catch-up on.
So what does that price difference actually look like for your wallet when you're running projects day in and day out?
Let's make it super concrete. For the exact same workload, you're looking at spending about $150 a month on GPT 5.4 versus just $36 a month on Grok 4.2. If you're doing anything at scale, that cost difference isn't just a small factor, it could be the entire decision. So after breaking all of that down, the architecture, the performance, the safety, the cost, let's get to it. The final verdict. Who should be using which model? All right, here it is. You should choose GPT 5.4 if you're a professional, a developer, or a creator where reliability is just non-negotiable. If you're writing production-level code, drafting client-facing documents, or need polished, factual outputs you can trust, GPT 5.4 is your workhorse. Its safety features and mature ecosystem make it the reliable choice, period. On the other hand, you should absolutely go with Grok 4.2 if your work involves massive documents, thanks to that 2 million token window. If you need access to real-time, up-to-the-second information from the web and X, or frankly, if you just need to keep costs down on a high-volume workload, Grok is the clear winner. But you know what? Honestly, the real pro move here might be to use both. The ultimate workflow could be this. You draft your initial content and code in GPT 5.4 because it's so reliable. Then, you run that output through Grok 4.2 for a final fact check against live data. That way, you truly get the best of both worlds. So now, after seeing this entire breakdown, the final question really is for you. Which model actually fits your workflow? Are you on Team GPT for that rock-solid reliability, or are you on Team Grok for that real-time data and massive scale? Really think about it, because choosing the right tool is always the first step to getting the result you actually want.